Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on into the 7th episode of the FS podcast. Today is Thursday, May 14th. My name's Jagger. I got my co-host Waya with me here today, as always.
Thank you, Jagger. Again, like I always say, thanks for the intro. So, today what we're going to talk about is the schedule.
It dropped a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but we are doing the
NFC North.
Yeah. So, we're going to get started on that here in a bit. But before we get started on that, I want to talk about our social media accounts. But I got this down, people.
All right.
I got this
Let's
down.
hear it.
Our Instagram is fantasy.sports.podcast. And our Twitter account is F_S_podcast. People, I did it.
That's unbelievable.
Mommy, I did it.
7 episodes. He finally knows our handle for everything.
I did it. I didn't get the first couple.
You had a good streak going, but I mean, something happened. I think you went to the Super Bowl with the Patriots. Anyway, as we said earlier, we're doing the NFC North today.
Yeah.
We're going to put up a poll on our Instagram probably tomorrow, but definitely before Tuesday on if you guys want to listen to the NFC East or the NFC West. Mm-hmm. That's up to you guys, whoever wins.
I have a feeling NFC West is going to win.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Because we're in the West?
Yeah, and because we're in Arizona, so I feel like that is going to win.
I think that's the main reason everyone picked NFC, but, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to start out today with the third spot in the NFC North, the Chicago Bears.
Mm-hmm. Looking at their schedule, I mean, of course, on their first game is going to be against the Lions.
Which is different because a lot of the time they like to have them play the Packers.
Yeah. Knowing you're a Bears fan, when do you think about it?
Well, I like the welcome change to the Week 1 matchup.
Yeah.
I really like them playing the Lions. I actually really like their schedule. Their schedule is really nice.
Too bad.
It's
I
not.
mean, they do play the Packers.
They play the Buccaneers, which has a lot of hype coming around them.
Yeah, but they play the Packers twice.
Well, yeah, because they're in their conference.
Yeah, the 29th and on the first and the third. Sorry.
January 3rd. It's the last game of the season.
Yeah, the last
regular
game.
season. Anyway, what do you project a winning season maybe for them?
Well, most of the games, it's like back and forth. I would say they would like at least probably win half of their games.
You think?
I think so. I'm still looking at it. They still are playing really tough teams. They used to got the Vikings, the Packers, the Bucks. Like you said, have a lot of hype.
Well, the NFC North is a real tough conference.
Yeah, I think so. And they got the Rams, So I could see them, probably not having an even ratio.
Really?
Yeah, but I can see them at least winning a couple games here and there.
Yeah, I do. But I think the biggest thing is for the fantasy output end. Mm-hmm. Of course, we talked about Allen Robinson last episode.
Yeah.
I like him in a lot of these matchups. In my opinion, I think the hardest one will probably be those conference rivals.
Yeah. I mean,
between the Vikings and the Packers.
I mean, looking at like the 3 first games they got, like the Lions, the Giants, and the Falcons and the Colts, like that 4. It doesn't look that bad. I have a feeling they can pull those off.
I do too.
Like they're not, of course. And then week 5 they got the Bucks. Mm-hmm. But I could see them pulling off the first 4 games.
You think so?
I think so.
Well, the biggest thing with them last year was their offense.
Yeah.
Probably still is their offense.
Like you said, they don't have like a for sure quarterback yet.
Yeah, it's a rival between Foles and Trubisky. No one knows yet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the people upstairs know, but they ain't telling us anything.
Not yet. It's a little keeper.
Exactly. It's a little secret.
So, but yeah, and looking at their schedule, I say that overall they don't have a too bad or a tough schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, they play the Bucks and the Saints, of course, and of course, like we said, the Packers.
I think just going on in general as we continue on this schedule series, this short mini thing, the Bucks are going to be a real interesting play on everyone's season because there's a lot of hype around them.
There is.
But
a lot.
I kind of have more faith in the Bucks this season than I did with the Browns last season.
You think so?
I think they're going to perform a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of hype behind the Browns last season.
Yeah.
What they did.
But I mean, if you think about it, the Browns still had young star talent. The
Yeah.
Bucks have older star talent.
Veterans, I guess you would say.
Yeah. But I think the Bears, I think it'll be tough.
Yeah.
But, it's always been tough. I honestly could see them maybe going about 8-8.
The good thing is,
maybe
though,
10.
is that they don't really have like a 4 or 5 away game streak.
Yeah.
That's a good thing because the last 3 games they'll be at home, and then
like the Vikings, they got a 3-game away streak.
So that kind of gives them, like they always say, like a home advantage always helps them.
Yeah,
just because of the fans, or they know the place and like depending on the weather.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So,
but it'll be interesting to see the Bears figure that out.
But like you said, going into like fantasy reasons for the Bears, like picking up Robinson, I could definitely see that as a good pick. Looking at the schedule, because I feel like he's gonna shine in most of these games.
I think in the first 4 weeks he'll definitely shine.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely against like the Lions, the Giants, and the Falcons, and the Colts. I definitely
think so
see
too.
him shining.
Maybe even the Panthers. I could see the Panthers. The Saints, I think, would be hard.
Yeah, like the Saints. Like we don't know about the Bucks yet, but apparently the Bucks, I think it might be a little hard for them too.
Yeah.
And then of course even the Packers, like we always keep going back to.
But the Packers, they were actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
Last year.
They still got.
They got pretty far.
Yeah, like I feel like every year you always hear the name, the Packers in the playoffs. So I
think that's gonna forever happen until Aaron Rodgers leaves.
I think so too. I think so too.
But so you said yes or no on the winning season?
No.
No?
I mean, I can definitely see them making their way.
What about like an 8-8?
Yeah, I can see that. But I don't really see them making it to the playoffs.
Yeah?
I know you're a Bears fan, but like...
Yeah, I'm being honest too. I might see them making the wild card. Maybe.
I can see that.
Maybe,
yeah.
If like the Vikings simmer down, because, they lost Diggs.
Yeah, they did.
They might simmer down a bit, and I think that would give the opportunity for the Bears to slip in.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can see them making at least a wild card.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So before we move on, ladies and gentlemen, we started a Patreon. You can go ahead and support us on patreon.com/f.s.podcast or go on patreon.com and look us up. We got deals starting as low as $5 a month, and with that, you get access to playing with us and or other fans in what we like to call the Fan Bowl, where you guys play with each other in various fantasy leagues. Waya and I probably will be involved in those.
Yeah, we'll join.
Yeah.
It would be fun.
So if you guys want to check that out, we're only limiting about 60 people, though, because we don't want to have too much work cut out for us right now.
20 leagues.
Yeah. We don't want to do that. So if you want to do that, or maybe we got another deal that's $10 a month where you can get access to our AMAs, or you can ask us fantasy-related questions.
Yeah.
And we'll shout you out at the end of every episode. So go ahead and check us out on patreon.com/FS podcast.
Yeah, I would definitely like, answering questions.
I would too. I think it'd be a fun episode.
Hearing other people's thoughts,
I know.
Just going over it, so.
But we're going to move on to the next team. That's the word I'm looking for. In the NFC North, the Packers, as we were saying.
Yeah, we were talking about them just the last one. But Packers, looking at the schedule, the first game is the Vikings, and the last games are going to be the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking at it, they have a tough schedule, I think. Just because, no, actually, the only tough team I really see are
the Niners.
The Niners. Overall, I feel like they're gonna make the playoffs again. Just looking at it.
Maybe Tennessee, just because of Derrick Henry.
Did you was that the Bucks right there on 10-5?
The Bucks are on 10-18.
10-18. Oh, you switched it. Okay. Yeah, the only tough teams I see are the Bucks and the Niners. But
if the Niners are consistent as they were last season.
Last year, you never know, they might change.
Mm-hmm.
But even in week 3, they got the Saints.
That's true.
Because like the Saints are always consistent in what they do every year, and you always, like I said, with the Packers, you always hear of the name the Saints in the playoff division.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Saints always make it, and then they lose to like the Vikings.
Yeah,
as it's been like the past 4 years, it seems.
But looking at the schedule, they don't have they don't play tough teams.
No, they play people like Detroit and Atlanta, Houston.
Yeah. They got Jackson there a couple times. They got the Bears.
You got the Colts.
So Philly,
Mm-hmm. They got the Panthers. They got to deal with CMC, but
yeah, The Panthers, they don't.
They're not really strong on the
Did
defensive
they?
end, though.
I don't know. Did they say their quarterback yet?
I don't think so. They
Yeah,
got like
see?
4 different quarterbacks
So that's
there.
questionable right there.
Yeah.
So
A lot of people are thinking it's going to be the star from the XFL, PJ Walker.
oh yeah. Oh shit, I forgot about XFL.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can definitely see them having a positive ratio though within the winning streak or the.
Yeah, I see him definitely having a winning season.
Yeah, I definitely see them making it to playoffs. Just looking at the schedule right now, I'm not saying like they have like an easy pathway to get there. I'm just saying that
We're going off of how the other teams performed last season.
yeah,
is
last
what
season.
What we're doing.
Like you never know.
Mm-hmm.
It's already a different season, but I can definitely see the Packers make it to the playoffs again, just because they don't play. I don't want to be mean, but like that good of a team.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're playing a lot of teams who didn't have a winning record
last season.
But yeah, if you guys are in the draft, Devontae Adams, I would definitely check him out just because of the schedule.
Yeah.
I think Devontae Adams could get you some good points.
I think so.
That is, unless all these teams on the list surprise us this season and really turn it around. That'd be interesting to see. But would you pick up So here, let's do this. Would you take up Allen Robinson or Devontae Adams based off of schedule?
Robinson.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Just because I know they don't really have a full-on quarterback with the Bears, but I can see Robinson shining out within a couple games.
Yeah.
And Adams, of course, they don't have a bad schedule, but I don't really see him kind of out there.
I don't see any games really where he's gonna get buttloads of points.
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe Philly, because Philly was terrible against wide receivers last season.
I was thinking Philly or the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Jacks,
Yeah, I think Jacksonville, because they got rid of all their star corners.
They did, so you just never know.
But let's go ahead and move on to Detroit. Once again, they play Chicago week 1.
Mm-hmm.
They play Arizona in week 3. A little rematch of last week 1.
I remember that last
where they ended in a tie.
Yeah. First game.
That was a good game for Kyler Murray fantasy.
That was.
He got 35 points.
That was a really good game.
But what do you think about Detroit's schedule?
Looking at the schedule,
they play Washington, which I really like.
Yeah. The only tough thing they got, I don't want to be in a.
Well, they play the Saints.
The Saints and the Bucks, of course, Green Bay.
Yeah.
And you got, of course, AZ, Arizona, and so far I heard they're doing a really good team build.
Well, yeah, Arizona with the pickup of Isaiah Simmons out of the draft, which everyone thinks is the best linebacker.
They think it's the steal of the draft. They say, and then they picked up. They got Hopkins.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see the tough teams being the Saints, of course, the Bucks, and Green Bay.
Yeah. You think it's gonna be those conference rivals, or
really maybe Arizona? I don't know yet, but
I think Arizona is in the same boat as the Buccaneers.
You think? Yeah, I would think so too. Just
where it's a bunch of hype surrounding them.
So I could definitely see. But looking at their schedule, most of the games are away, I think, right?
Well, they open it up with
because they're not home in the first game, and then
they're away. Yeah, they don't really have a long stand at home or away.
My question is, if you look at the one on the side, do you see what it says? Detroit at.
Oh, my bad.
So I don't know if that's the. Yeah, who are they playing?
I will get on that. That is my bad. I accidentally wrote Detroit's playing the Lions away, so that's kind of hard.
But looking at the schedule,
they play the Vikings.
The Vikings
the last week.
I was just about to say right now. Actually, I feel like Detroit and the Vikings would be a really good game to watch.
Yeah,
I think so. Just looking at it, I don't know.
I think them and Washington maybe.
I was thinking Washington, just because they're kind of an even out team. So going head to head, I can definitely see maybe having a good game. Probably won't be a too high of a scoring game.
I think Washington and them will be high.
You think so?
Because Detroit's got good offense. T.J. Hawkinson, Kenny Galladay, and Washington ain't too bad either.
Yeah,
they got Terry McLaurin. I think Dwayne Haskins is still starting.
I think so.
But they still got AP.
The one schedule I was thinking about is the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Just because, like I said, they don't have a full-on quarterback. But just looking at the schedule, I would like to see what teams are gonna kind of, I guess you would say, like taking advantage.
True.
Over the team.
Yeah, it'll be tough. I mean, we all know Christian McCaffrey is gonna be good, but like, it's gonna be hard if you ain't got a quarterback. I mean.
Yeah. But looking at like the fantasy side of this,
where do you place like Kenny Golladay? Would you take him above Allen Robinson currently?
I would pick Golladay over Robinson. Just because like I don't want to be biased, but I had him last year, and he was like always my starter on for each week, and he did good for me.
Well, he is like the main target for Stafford.
He is. So I can like looking at the schedule too. Like they don't have that many bad as a team. Like they got Atlanta Jacks a couple times, Vikings, Texans. I could see like Golladay getting those catches or those yardage. Even though like when we play PPR, I could see him getting those yardages and getting those extra points.
That's true. I think Detroit. I don't see him getting a winning season. Just because they haven't really been.
They haven't been
there.
Shined out really. I don't see it.
It's been a rough couple of years for Detroit.
I feel like their time will come.
Give it a bit more.
Give it a bit more. Like this would be like, I'm not saying it would be a bad season, but it'd still be a really good season to watch.
You don't think they'll get first draft pick though, right?
I don't think so.
No, you don't think they'll be the absolute garbage team?
I can see like maybe the Jacks or like even maybe the Browns.
Really?
Yeah, Browns? Just because they did so horrible last year.
So I'm kind of thinking the Colts maybe.
Yeah.
The Colts could be in that same boat.
Maybe the Bengals.
I don't know. You got Joe Burrow, AJ Green.
Or maybe the Dolphins. I mean, like, that's the only thing about, like, getting the first pick of the draft. You can get the first pick. Yay, and then, like.
I mean, perfect example is a couple years back, Arizona picking up Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
And then the next year they pick up Kyler Murray and trade Josh Rosen to Miami.
Yeah. That was his first. That was their first pick.
Yeah. And now Josh Rosen was on Miami, and they picked up Tua on Miami. So Josh Rosen's career is a bit up in the air.
Yeah.
I mean,
knowing he was the first draft.
Yeah, that's really got to hit hard.
That does.
Well, he was in the same class, if I remember, as Lamar.
Yeah. So, guess we should have picked up Lamar.
I guess so. Hey, you got Kyler Murray the next year, so it ain't too bad.
It's not too bad. And they said they picked up really good defensive lineman. So
that's true. So Detroit, yeah, I think the toughest thing is going to be divisional rounds between them and like Green Bay and Minnesota.
I definitely don't see them making the playoffs, like you said, or even having the first round pick.
I feel like they're going to be maybe top five picks.
I think so too. But overall, like picking up Golladay for fantasy points,
Golladay would be nice.
It would be really nice looking at the schedule, because he would outshine a lot more, defensive wise.
Yeah, he would.
So
I think actually maybe picking him up in the draft and maybe riding him to the Saints, or if you want to tough it out, maybe even ride him up to the first time they play Minnesota.
Yeah,
would be nice.
Would be nice. Like even against like teams that are not that they don't really have that much of a rivalry, like Jacksonville. I could definitely see you putting him as a starter, and because he's gonna get that yardage.
Well, yeah, I think playing any wide receiver now against Jacksonville will be nice. I mean, trading away Jalen Ramsey, AJ Bouye, and everyone else. It'll be interesting. Me personally, I agree with your pickup of Kenny Golladay.
Yeah, I would
over
definitely
them.
pick him up.
Kenny Golladay over Devontae Adams, too?
Looking at the schedule, I would definitely pick him up.
Would you pick up Kenny Golladay over Devontae Adams?
Yeah.
I guess that was a pretty obvious question. You took Allen Robinson over him, so.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying Adams is not a bad player. I just looking at the schedule, I don't really see him getting that many points or outshining other people.
Yeah, for me, the Packers going back to it, I think Devontae Adams. I think the Packers are going to be winning a lot of their games. They're going to be running a lot.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to make it to the playoffs. Yeah, but like I don't know why, but like I just don't see Adams up there.
Yeah, I see them being up a lot and just running the clock out.
Yeah,
I don't see them, airing it out. But Aaron Rodgers likes to roll out and bomb it, 50 yards, and catch it. So
Hail Mary.
It'll be interesting.
It would be a really nice season to watch.
Yeah. So let's move on to our final pick, the Vikings. Not really a pick, but final position, I guess.
Schedule. Yeah.
So yeah, they play Green Bay, as we said.
Looking at the schedule again. Oh well, first time I guess. They do have like you said, the Vikings have like a full 3 away game streak,
Yeah.
and then the last 3 games are at home.
Yeah.
So in the away games is the Cowboys, the Panthers, and the Jacks, the Jaguars, Jacksonville. I could definitely see the Cowboys being a really big threat, of course, with them having Dak and Amari
and picking up CD
Lamb. So I feel like the first away game for the streak would be bad. I mean, I'm not saying to be like a blowout.
But you don't think they'll win it?
I don't think they're gonna win it. But as looking at the next 2 games, I feel like they're gonna win against the Panthers and the Jaguars.
Yeah. What about Adam Thielen? How do you feel about his fantasy relevance through the year? Just looking at the schedule.
Looking at the schedule, I mean, you got Seattle in there.
That's always a tough place.
Yeah. And like I said, the Cowboys and the Bucks and the Saints, looking at him.
I mean, thankfully they're playing Seattle at home. Playing Seattle away is very hard.
I would pick him up.
Yeah? Would you pick him up over Devontae? I'm just trying to gauge here on,
Over. No, I would pick Devontae.
You would? Over Thielen?
Yeah.
I'd actually pick up Thielen.
You think so?
Because, Diggs is gone. They got that new.
Oh my gosh!
They got the new receiver, but I Thielen's still the number one target.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. I would pick him up then over Devontae.
I mean, you still got Kirk Cousins throwing the ball.
But,
But Kirk Cousins, he ain't bad.
He's not a bad quarterback.
He's pretty solid.
He is. He's a solid quarterback for the Vikings.
Me personally, I think he's overhyped. But I mean,
I feel like he's like that. He's like that. What do you call that? He's kind of in the shadow. People don't really think much about him, but he's still a really good quarterback.
Really?
Yeah,
I think he was really good when he used to play with the Redskins.
True.
And then he went and switched to the Vikings.
So
do you see the Vikings winning season?
Yeah, I can see that. They still got a couple tough teams like the Seattle again, the Cowboys, but I can see them making the playoffs.
So what about I know we've been talking about wide receivers, but what about Dalvin Cook? How do you feel about him this season? I like Dalvin Cook. I think he'll be solid.
I think I had him for a bit last year.
You did?
I think so, and he was pretty solid for me. But I think I would probably pick him up.
Yeah. What about Jamal Adams over Dalvin Cook with the Packers?
I would pick. Did you say Adams?
Jamal Adams over.
I'll pick Jamal.
Really?
Yeah. Just because.
Because he catches it more, you think?
Yeah, and the Packers kind of have a good pathway.
So he's going to get a lot of running.
A lot of running and the yardage over the Vikings.
That's
looking
true.
At the schedule.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that.
Do you see the Vikings making the playoffs at all?
I
said yeah.
I see it being a battle between them and the Packers, like it was last year.
Like it is every year.
Yeah.
Apparently. But yeah, I can see them making maybe to the playoffs. Like you said, Packers and the Vikings would be a head-on, fight for the maybe wild card. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Packers will secure the playoff round, and I think the Vikings will be in the wild card. I think that's what it's going to be.
I feel like that can happen.
I would not be surprised to see that. But real quick, I want to touch on Houston, the Texans. Them trading DeAndre. How do you feel about them? We're going to get to their schedule eventually.
Yeah,
but how do you feel about them right now without seeing their schedule?
Well, just hearing that they traded.
It doesn't sound real. It sounds like you're playing Madden.
Yeah, like I don't just the sound of it. I can sort of see them still being a really good team.
You think?
Not gonna lie.
With them and Will Fuller.
Yeah, but I feel like there's definitely not gonna make it to playoffs.
You don't think so?
They've
made it to the playoffs.
They have
almost
made it
every
a couple
year.
times. Yeah, they have. You're right. But with them just trading and then like I don't know, a new year with new teams, like there's so much hype. I don't really see them up there making the playoffs.
That's true. I think I honestly still see him making playoffs.
You think so?
I think Will Fuller will really step up. Even though he gets injured a lot, I think he'll step up.
Yeah.
And be
like I can't really
there.
think of any big names though for the Houstons besides Fuller.
That's about it.
Do you see? That's what I mean, like J.J. Watt, but that was like a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean he's still there, but he hasn't really hit anything. I mean they still got Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's still good.
So
I mean, I'd pick up Deshaun Watson at quarterback just because of the rushing, as we said in our quarterback episode. Rushing gets you points.
It does, especially in PPR.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I can see them doing really good in fantasy wise, because it kind of gives them an opportunity, like they said, to get Watson the ball. He's gonna run it, of course, and then of course like the defense. I mean, I wouldn't really pick up the defense. Not really. But like fantasy wise, yeah, they're gonna get you some good points. But like throughout the season and making the playoffs, I don't really see that.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll make wild card maybe?
I can see them making wild card, but I don't really have them like a solid spot in the playoffs.
That's true. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Houston plays.
I think Watson is still a really good quarterback.
Yeah, he is. He's still
he was in the top 10, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, see, he's still a really good quarterback to pick up.
He's good. But him not having his main target.
Yeah, that's a little difficult. But like you said, he might run it more now, knowing that he doesn't have his kind of resources.
He doesn't have his bailout DeAndre Hopkins.
No, not anymore. With the Cardinals now, so.
Yeah. I mean, you got to feel bad for the guy almost. Like
he's kind of by himself now.
Yeah, Deshaun, he probably didn't have a whole lot of say. Bill O'Brien's just like, all right, here's Hopkins. Yeah, I'll take David Johnson. What's that? He's hurt? All right, yeah, I'll still take him. Yeah, bring him over here. Like, come on, Bill. What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's good for the Cardinals, of course.
It is. A lot of people.
Like, it's kind of bad for the Houston knowing that, Watson doesn't have Hopkins there when he needs him as usual.
But I think we put Hopkins in our top 10.
Yeah.
Hopkins will still be solid.
Well, like, I think we talked about him kind of trying to fit in with the Cardinals. Like it might be it might be a little difficult for him to get into the equation with the Cardinals.
True,
because he's new, and of course Murray's still a new coach. So I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So is there with Detroit? I want to touch on them again. Kenny Golladay. Do you still think he's going to maintain his star power as he did last season, or do you think maybe like T.J. Hawkinson is going to take that over at tight end?
No, I feel like Golladay.
You think he'll still be the main?
Yeah, I think he would still be the main.
That's good.
Because he's not that old. He's young. He's still fast. Catches the ball. Like I said, I had him last year. He did really good for me. He was always consistent with his points, averaging I think it was about maybe 15 points per game. So
which is really good.
It was really good. He really outshined my OBJ,
who you had all season.
Ooh, I don't know why I didn't trade him. Or put him up for a waiver or something.
What you should have done is waited till he had like a good week and then just like ride that hype train and traded it to someone.
Like, yo,
you see that? OBJ got like 20 points this week.
Yeah, I'll trade you.
Give me like DeAndre Hopkins. Like, come on, man. That's like a fair trade.
Damn. I should have thought about that. That was a good idea.
True.
Knowing the people in that league, they would have done it.
I know. We'll talk about some draft strategies after the scheduling thing. Do a couple mock drafts. Yeah. Hopefully in time for.
And if you want to do a mock draft, it'd be nice to do it with a couple like listeners, just for the fun of it.
Which again, if you guys want to play in the league with us, go ahead and check out our Patreon, FS Podcast. $5 a month gets you into our leagues.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It's PPR redraft, so
yeah, I can't wait though for us to start our new league, new season. Just that we still gotta find people.
We do.
I mean, we have a dynasty, but I think that dynasty is kind of dead now.
We gotta
cut it off,
pull it out the wall.
So we're gonna have to create a new league. So if you guys want to join us,
go ahead. $5.
Yeah, so
that's it. $5 a month.
It'll be fun. So I mean, like you said, like we use SleeperBot, so you can also have like a co. So
if you're a bit new and you know someone that's experienced, you guys can get on the same team. And help manage that. And I did that with my cousin last season.
Give them experience of what it's like to manage a league or a team.
That's true. So if you guys are gonna pick that up, go ahead and make sure you grab Sleeper because that's what we're gonna use.
It's on the App Store,
Google Play,
whatever.
It works. All right, it just works.
I feel
it's
like
so nice.
Yeah, I feel like because like when Jagger showed me, I thought like, oh, this might be a little difficult, but it wasn't really. It was kind of plain and simple.
Well, I remember that day you were like sending us like, oh, should we play on Yahoo or should we play on
like
ESPN, NFL?
And this guy's like Superbot. I was like, what the heck is Superbot? And it worked out pretty great.
It is.
It did.
Is. Anyway, if you guys want to check that out, go ahead and check out the Patreon and all that.
Okay.
And anyway, we're running out of time for today.
Yeah. All right. Before we end this episode, of course, again, I'm going to give a shout out to our social media accounts. Our Instagram is fantasy.sports.podcast. And our Twitter account is F_S_podcast.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
He got it.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And I just want to thank you guys all again for tuning in and listening to our FS podcast.